Hello everyone, right, so tonight's question is Flat Earth a cult? And before the first start screeching into the webcams like someone drop kicked a Furby into a microwave, let me be clear. I'm not saying that every flat earther lives in a compound, wears matching robes, and waits for David Weiss to descend from the firmament on a mobility scooter made of bullshit. That's not my claim. My claim is very simple. Flat Earth behaves like a cult-like conspiracy movement. Not always formally, not legally, not one with a leader, one temple, and a choir singing Water Finds Its Level in B minor, but in behavior, absolutely. One useful way to look at cult-like behavior is the BITE model: behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control. And Flat Earth doesn't fit every part perfectly because it's a decentralized internet conspiracy, not a compound in the woods. But it shows enough of the pattern that we should stop pretending it's just harmless questioning. Let's start with information control. Flat Earthers love saying, do your own research, but they don't mean research. They mean ignore schools, universities, pilots, engineers, surveyors, astronomy, navigation, satellites, measurements, and maths, then listen to some bloke on YouTube who thinks perspective is a magical dragon that eats the bottom of boats. That isn't independent thinking. That isn't intellectual inbreeding. That is intellectual inbreeding. Real research means following evidence, even when it kicks your favorite belief directly in the teeth. Flat Earth does the opposite. It starts with a conclusion, Earth is flat, and builds a paranoid pillow fort around it. Photos from space? Fake. Videos from space? CGI. Rocket launches? Obviously holograms. Pilots? Lying. Scientists? Paid. Maths? Some kind of satanic wizardry, obviously. At some point, it stops being skepticism. It's just being wrong with stamina. Then you've got thought control. Flat Earth uses loaded language to stop people thinking clearly. You're not someone who accepts basic astronomy, you're a glober. You're not someone who understands physics, you're indoctrinated. You're not asking for evidence, you're a NASA shill. You're not correcting them, you're defending the heliocentric religion. It's toddler level word magic. They label you so they don't have to answer you. If I'm a shill, then they don't need to explain why their map turns Australia into a crime scene. If evidence is CGI, then they just don't have to deal with it. If experts are paid liars, they never have to learn anything. And that isn't debate, it's a defense mechanism with Wi-Fi. Emotional control. Flat Earth tells people they're awake, special, chosen, smarter than scientists, brave enough to see what the sheep cannot. And that's the hook. Instead of learning physics, astronomy, optics, surveying, navigation, or why the sun doesn't shrink into a tiny dot like a Poundland magic trick, they skip straight to feeling superior. No exams, no maths, no qualifications, just paranoia and a YouTube playlist. Flat Earth gives people a shortcut to feeling clever. And once that becomes part of your identity, leaving hurts. Leaving doesn't just mean I was wrong about the globe. It means I accused innocent people of lying, I rejected obvious evidence, I trusted idiots over experts, and I made being wrong part of who I was. And that's why so many of them doubled down. And that brings us to the clearest cult-like behavior of all. What happens when one of their own changes their mind? A healthy movement rewards honesty. A cult-like movement pushes being an apostate. Look at Jeran Campanella, Jeranism. For years, flat earthers said the 24-hour Antarctic sun was impossible. They said footage was fake. They said Antarctica was locked down. They said the treaty stopped you going there. Then people, including Jeran, went. They saw it. They filmed it. They live streamed it. Jeran was there. And he did the one thing Flat Earth absolutely cannot tolerate. He admitted he was wrong. In science, that's honesty. In Flat Earth, that is betrayal. He didn't get praised for following the evidence. He got attacked, compromised, controlled opposition, shill, traitor, the usual Flat Earth bingo card of brain rot. He went to Antarctica, saw the sun stay up for 24 hours, and parts of the Flat Earth community treated him like he'd walked into a church wearing a Satan had a point t-shirt. That is cult-like behavior. Because when your movement punishes someone for accepting direct observation, you're not running a truth movement. You're running a thought prison for people who failed geography and made it everybody else's problem. Now, behavior control in Flat Earth isn't usually you must live here and wear this robe. It's social behavior control. Stay inside the bubble, share approved content, mock outsiders, distrust experts, repeat the slogans, don't admit doubt. And if someone leaves, treat them like they sold their soul for a NASA lanyard and a packet of astronomy ice cream. Flat Earth doesn't need one pope, it doesn't need one temple, and it doesn't need matching robes. Modern cult-like movements can be decentralized. They can be held together by algorithms, live streams, shared enemies, social pressure, and the desperate need to feel smarter than people who actually know what they're talking about. So is Flat Earth a cult? Not always in the formal legal compound in the woods sense, but as cult-like conspiracy ecosystem, hell yes. It shows information control by poisoning trust in every source outside the bubble. It shows thought control through loaded language and thought-stopping cliches. It shows emotional control by making people feel chosen and terrified of being fooled. And it shows behavior control through loyalty tests, social punishment, and shunning people who leave. It's not science, it's not skepticism, it's not independent thought. The globe is not hard to prove. Sticks and shadows, ships, flights, star trails, time zones, navigation, satellites, the 24-hour Antarctica sun. Flat Earth survives not because the evidence is weak, it survives because the social trap is strong. Without the paranoia, the group identity, the shit accusations, and the fear of being excommunicated, the whole thing collapses faster than the Flurf trying to explain Southern Hemisphere flight paths. So my position is simple. Flat Earth is a cult-like conspiracy movement that protects idiots from the horror of learning something. And when your entire worldview can be destroyed by a sunset, a pendulum, a telescope, Antarctica, and a child holding a globe, maybe the problem isn't NASA. Maybe your truth movement is about as robust as a chocolate teapot in a volcano.